Ladies and gentlemen, this is a robbery. Hands where I can see them and don't move.
Why don't you hold over that wallet all nice like, sir, and we just might not shoot you.
You can't rob me. You can't rob us. Can't rob us neither.
Why not?
You see, he's already been robbed.
By who?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
So this is once again one of our pre-recorded episodes because we love y'all, so we want to have continuous episode releases without us going like, oh geez, we have to figure out how to record now because we got to release this in 2 days, last time.
What are you talking about? There were some times where it was like, okay, we need to record now. Why? So we can release this tomorrow. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, we did have a lot of those moments, and it's just because of our schedules and all of that. It just got a little crazy.
I think the closest call that I personally got was there was an episode we'd done that required a little bit more editing than I thought, and I usually release it at like 2 a.m. Central Time.
Yeah.
And I managed to finish the edits at 1:30.
I think I remember that, and you went, "Oh, I've released it too soon."
Yeah.
Hang back.
Yeah, I had to very quickly like take it off, and it was like anyone with notifications on just went, huh?
What happened there?
Oh, just Jackie being stupid again. It's fine.
Oh goodness. But yeah, we're recording this 2 weeks, I guess, before this one will actually air. This episode will actually air. And yeah, like we've been still thinking about some of the things that we want to do for this season. Just like, one of the things that we were thinking about is instead of one of us doing an intro for each episode where we kind of all rotate, we're thinking about doing skits. If you guys don't like that, that's too bad because we've already done them.
And how many episodes have we pre-recorded? Who knows? Only we know.
Yeah. Ooh.
You get to revel in our hilariously marvelous rank acting abilities.
Oh, such good acting abilities.
Very good acting ability.
Emmy award-winning, Tony-nominated.
We're gonna be up for a Streamy. We're gonna be up for a BAFTA. We're all the awards.
Bitch, I'm getting an Oscar. Okay.
A Webby. For Webby.
All the awards.
So many awards.
We're gonna have so many awards. We're gonna have to buy a whole new house just to fill them in, which is good because we're gonna be filthy rich in the process.
I want mine made of chocolate.
Haven't you watched the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka? The prince, a prince wanted his house made entirely out of chocolate, and it melted in the sun.
Yeah, funnily enough, I look back now and I recognize the actor that's playing said prince. Nitin Ganatra, I think his name is. If I can remember that's what his name is. Apologies if it's wrong, but I know he played Masood in EastEnders, which is a UK soap opera. Just a little bit of trivia.
I think
nobody needed to know.
I think it's always fun when you like you grow up watching a show or a movie or something, and there's this one actor that's usually like hiding in the background, or like they don't have a really big part, or maybe they do, and then like years later you watch something that they've done, you fall in love with them, and then you look at like their IMDb and you're like, wait, they were in that? So then you have to go back to watch the original thing and you're like, oh, they were there the whole time.
It's like I'm not sure what it was because I know Elijah Wood, when I think his first role, if anything, was in one of the Back to the Future movies.
Hmm.
And I'm afraid to say I've yet to watch any of the Back to the Future movies. I'm a bad nerd. But yeah, I think it was Back to the Future Part 2. It's the one when it's in the future.
Hmm.
And I think Marty McFly's at a diner or arcade game, and Elijah's one of the two kids at said game, like watching him. That's about as much as I know.
Oh.
But he's an underrated actor as well, should I say, Elijah Wood. So
I did it a lot with David Tennant. I fell in love with him as the 10th Doctor, and then I went back and I was like, oh my god, he was in that thing. Wait, he was in that thing too? He was in that thing? What?
I know he was like, I think his first major role as well. I'm not sure how accessible it is for those outside the UK, but it was a small series. I think it was in 93, 94, thereabouts. It was a Scottish dramedy comedy. I say comedy, but more drama really, set in a Glasgow psychiatric hospital. And David, he was just a baby at the time. He was, not literally a baby, but early 20s, so very fresh faced David Tennant playing a character called Campbell, who was bipolar, and he does such a good job, and it's centered around the hospital radio station, and Campbell wants to be part of said radio station, and it's the main character is, it's been a while since I've watched it, an actor called Ken Stott. He is centered around his character, and he's a disc jockey, and he gets like a volunteer position at this psychiatric hospital. And then he meets, David Tennant's character, and there's three other characters that are like in the main group, so to speak. And one of them, I forget the actor's name, but he was Robert the Bruce in Braveheart. He's in it. Yeah. It's called Taking Over the Asylum. It might be outdated in regards to, accurate representation these days. But I think it's done in a very tasteful way. It's not played for laughs. So it's something that people might be considered looking at if they want to see David in one of his first roles.
I just had a moment of like heart-stopping anxiety because like I was sitting here, I was watching my child play Minecraft, and then my brain went, you forgot to press record again, and I went and I had to look at the screen real quick. That will never leave me.
We didn't
Apologies if I stopped that flow dead there with my spiel, but I think I got to the point eventually after 12 bloody years, but
Oh yeah. Did we hit the timer though?
No.
like egg timer.
We did not. but that's okay. That's okay. We can make some adjustments on the fly. Ta-da!
Yay. Well, it's fine. Yeah, it's really weird when you see like when you see like an actor that you like, and then you're just like, is this the start of their career? Like Ryan, I remember a show that I liked watching besides like Xena and like Hercules was like Young Hercules, and they would show that like on Saturdays or something like that. And that the main character Hercules was played by Ryan Gosling, who went on to do like a bunch of like other shows and movies and things like that that were a lot darker than Young Hercules, and some comedies, you know. Um, and then like the movie The Borrowers, like I had the VHS. I guess my mom had bought it for us because she thought it looked like something that we'd like because it's based off of like a book I think that I had to read for school once when I was like in first or second grade. And one of the characters in there, or maybe two of the characters in there, were later characters that I saw in like Harry Potter. I think Tom Felton was the little borrower boy, and
Mm.
like one of the women I think ended up being Molly Weasley or somebody, or it may have just been the same director that was on the borrowers, and
Was it
you
was it
know
not the dad? Because I
it may have,
think the dad was Jim Broadbent, and did he not go on to play Slughorn?
I think so. It may
Yeah.
have uh one I didn't remember which was the other character, but I know Tom Felton was in there, and then
Mm.
he went on when he was a little older to play Draco for a number of years. So
Mm.
yeah, so it's always interesting.
I'll tell you
Uh,
one that happened to me back when PT, the playable trailer, came out.
yeah.
I I didn't have, no, I did have a PlayStation, I think, or maybe I didn't have one, but I was too, I can't remember if I didn't have one or if I had one and was just too scared to play it. Either one is a distinct possibility, to be honest. Um, so I went on to YouTube and watched it, and I watched this really funny Irish guy doing it. I was like, oh man, he's really funny. And it was really fun to watch him get scared. And I
Hmm.
was like, haha, really funny. And then I closed out and completely forgot about him. Years later, I start really getting into watching like games on YouTube and stuff and following specific YouTubers. And I go back and I watch I find Jacksepticeye and I start watching him. And then at one point, YouTube actually recommends Jacksepticeye playing through PT. I was like, wait a minute. Wait, no, I've watched. Oh my God, that was him.
I think the first Jacksepticeye videos I remember watching was his Skate 3 videos. That was a long time ago.
It really was. He was a
Um,
baby then.
I don't remember the first video that I saw of him. I think, I mean, like the first ever thing that I saw of like Jack, I think may have been his Don't Laugh compilations.
Mm-hmm.
But that, but I don't think I started watching him until maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. Same with Markiplier. I remember seeing stickers of him like maybe 5 or 6 years ago that a friend of mine had that she's like in love with Markiplier when he had pink hair still.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I was just like, oh, cool. I don't know who that is.
I remember seeing the little animated um, videos dedicated to Markiplier when he must have been playing Yandere Simulator. It's like, notice me, senpai, senpai. People will be thinking, what is she sniffing again? Is she on the sugar again? No, it's still Prozac, but you know,
You're not supposed to snort the Prozac.
I don't like things going up my nose. Just a little detail that nobody needed to know.
one of the other things that I remember is Aaron Aaron Hansen, who's, everybody knows he's Game Grumps, but he's also like Ego Raptor. That was the high school was the first time that I saw like his animations and things like that on Newgrounds, which I'm sad Adobe Flash is no longer a thing now. But yeah, it's all of his animated videos were on Newgrounds, and then they were on like YouTube for a while. And then after that I was just like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't see him like release anything, at least not that I went looking for. And then it was just like, oh yeah, Aaron Hansen's on Game Grumps. I was like, what is that? So sometimes I do feel like a really old person when somebody's just like, oh yeah, this blah blah blah, YouTuber, and I'm over here just like, uh-huh, what is know what that is.
I do remember at one point PewDiePie, which I don't really watch him. I'm not really a big fan of PewDiePie, but when when he first really kicked off and started getting really popular, his name would show up everywhere. So
Mm.
I'd seen his name like a full year or so before I ever watched a video he had done. And it was really trippy. And I just remember thinking, this is such an odd thing to have, people that are playing video games for a living. And like for the
Mm.
longest time, I didn't think that that was like possible. Or I was like, well, how much money could they possibly make doing this? Like a bunch of people play video games, and that just goes to show you how much time has changed in the past few years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really watch or like PewDiePie, mostly because of comments that he has made
Yep.
and half-heartedly apologized for um over many, many years. And so I mean, if any of our listeners listen to him, okay, you you do that, but personally for me, I do not believe in supporting him.
Nope.
Um So yeah, I saw like there was like everywhere on YouTube. It was just like PewDiePie released this, or my reaction to PewDiePie's like thing, or like this, and then I was just like, is that a new My Little Pony character?
Yeah, like I had no idea what it was. Like I would be reading like news articles like that had nothing to do with YouTube. I can't remember the name of the website now, but they would send out like a weekly newsletter of different articles people had written. And I for a while there I was obsessed with them, and I would read like all the articles. And like every so often you'd get an article, and it was like every other article would mention PewDiePie doing something or make a reference to him. And I'm like, who is this?
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know if he's still a YouTuber, but it's kind of like that YouTuber Logan Paul.
Ugh.
I know his brother
Mm.
sister are like still doing stuff. I don't think he's doing anything, maybe. I don't know. But it's kind of like that. It's like he came into popularity, I want to say, maybe a couple of years after PewDiePie. So there would be like, want to watch this prank video by Logan Paul? And I was just like, who is that person and why does he have two first names? Like, and I was like, no, thank you. I'm gonna go watch something else. I'm gonna go watch my part 8 of episode 30 anime video on YouTube. It's like, excuse me. I do not want to watch PewDiePie or a prank video by Logan Paul. And so
Mm.
it's strange, like you would either hear their voice or see that person, and you're just like, I know you from somewhere, and then you read the credits and you're like, it's you, or like you just see that person's name for like a year or maybe like 2 years before you actually sit down and like
Mm.
watch a video.
I mean, I used to watch PewDiePie's content years ago. I don't watch his content now. Um, Again, like we said, if any of the listeners or any of our followers do watch PewDiePie, you know, that's your choice. It's not our personal choice, but we'll just leave it there. But I felt that I kind of like outgrowed a lot of the humor, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that the first videos I remember watching of PewDiePie was his playthrough of Heavy Rain. Because I'd picked it up at the time and foolishly watched somebody else play it before I played it myself, and then gave away the entire ending. But yeah, and then from then I was watching his content, and that's when he was predominantly playing games rather than, you know, some of the content that he's bringing out now. But, you know, he does what he does. I don't watch his stuff anymore, so, and I know people do, so that's people's choices. So
Yeah. Like I have a few that I watch. I have a few YouTubers that I watch, like Mark, the Game Grumps, Jack, and then like, but it's usually like a mix of different people, different channels. You know, like Dead Meat or like Foundflix or um Screened, stuff like that. Like I usually have like a mix of like YouTube channels that I watch that aren't, some of them aren't dedicated to like video games.
hmm.
Them are like dedicated to movies and like things like that, and some of them are like explore the lore behind like a video game or a comic or film, stuff like that. That's pretty, you know, that I find at the time I'm like interested in, but I don't want to go and see it yet because I don't have the time yet, you know.
I mean, my content viewing on YouTube's fairly mixed as well. I watch a mix of things from, you know, Call Me Kevin. He's another great Irish YouTuber as well. If you've not checked him out,
Hmm.
so watch the likes of, you know, Call Me Kevin, um, Trixie Mattel, who's a drag queen, and then yeah, just like some of the big names like Jacksepticeye, H2O Delirious, and then like a lot of things about a lot of nerdy stuff about biographics and movie reviews and the like. So that's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
that's how boring I am.
my viewing on YouTube is pretty random as well. I tend to watch a lot of music. I like a lot of the acapella groups like Voice Play or Home Free, things like that. So I tend to fall into that. One thing I will say, and I will kind of interject with, is while YouTube is known for being rather controversial, especially as far as how they treat their excuse me, their content creators, one thing
Hmm.
is true, and we can't really deny this, is it did give a platform to people who otherwise would have been ignored by the industry because either they didn't look a certain way or they didn't sound a certain way. And so a lot of people that would have been like, oh, yeah, well, you sound great, but you don't look the part.
Hmm.
And so we were able to see their talents rather than, just judging them by strictly by how they looked. And like there's one of I can't remember his name completely now. Um but he is a fantastic singer, has a gorgeous voice, and he is just not Caleb Hiles, that's his name.
That
He
was it. I was thinking, is that going to be the name that you're going to mention? I was literally just listening to some of his covers
mhm. But yeah,
literally
like
about an hour ago.
he doesn't look the part. Like he would never, like, as far as the industry goes, the musical industry, he would never have been given a contract. Like it just wouldn't have happened. He would have, like, to get it, he probably would have ended up going on to like one of the reality TV shows, and even then, like, who knows if he had won or not. So like I like YouTube for that. I also like that it's kind of opened the doors for a lot of people who, like, maybe the only thing they are good at is content creation, and they're good at entertaining people, but they don't necessarily want to get up on a big stage and do like a comedy routine, or maybe they're really good at doing hair or makeup or painting, and there's a platform for it. And so for all the bad that YouTube has done, like, we kind of have to value the good it's done as well.
Yeah. Like there on a lot of platforms there are issues. Like sorry, I have to move my cat away from the laptop again because she's trying to log me out.
Well, it's okay.
Oh,
We
moon
can't
pie.
see. We can't see you because you turned your
Oh,
camera
moon
on.
pie.
I'm holding her right now.
Not
Here,
that
I
we
turn
could
on.
tell.
She's right here.
Oh,
Are you
I wish I had a pet.
are you gonna put her in the timeout shirt again?
No, because this is my nice shirt and she already tried to destroy it. Uh, she's trying to knead it with her claws. But yeah, there's a lot of problems with each platform, like Twitch especially. Twitch, YouTube, for a bit, when Mixer was still around, Mixer, um, stuff like that. And it's usually because one thing or another, the platform, the people that run it, it feels like they don't want to step on any toes.
Mhm.
Like with YouTube, they allow you to pretty much post whatever you want. But now they're kind of actively going towards like demonetizing things if you are posting stuff that goes against their like platform, but there are still a lot of stuff on YouTube that's been posted, taken down, then reposted again on different accounts. So, and for Twitch, you have mods and things like that to sort of monitor your chats and everything to keep people from posting things in there. You can check to mark that nobody uses any kind of like derogatory terms, and you can change it to where it's like severe. So if anybody writes like a slur, a racial slur or a curse word, it will be blocked out, and that comment won't appear. But that won't, necessarily stop some people, and some will find a way around it, or they'll just, try to game snipe you, while you're
Mhm.
playing and stuff like that, or um, mess with like your internet and things like that. So I mean, it's just there are issues in every platform, and I wish that there wasn't, but it's getting towards the better where there isn't as much of, like the Wild West sort of way it was before. Like YouTube years ago, like close to 20 years ago, was like the Wild West of videos. You could find pretty much everything on there, for
Mhm.
better or for worse.
Pretty much. And then, like, I mean, and a lot of it has to do with the fact of we just we'd never seen anything like it. Like, it was a huge platform that opened up so much, and it was like, at that point, how do you even go about policing that without
Mm.
like horrifically silencing one group or showing, privilege to another, like,
Mm.
yeah. So luckily, like, now that it's been around, and it's not a new thing anymore, it's not quite so we've gone through the growing pains of change, and now it's like, okay, well, here's this platform, here's what happens on it. So now you can kind of police a little better, but because now
Yeah.
it's kind of settled down.
Yeah, now it's a little better, but some people do have some complaints about the fact that sometimes like DMCA, like claims and things like that from someone saying that the music used in your video violated was like a needs to be taken off because they said that it belonged to them. Like I think some people got a lot of Sony Music DMCA's last year, and they're just like, but I didn't even use any of your music. It was like a specific company that just kept sending YouTube spamming them that this content creator or this video or this video or this video was violation of their music copyright properties. And
Yeah,
it
and it wasn't even theirs.
yeah, and yeah, it wasn't even their music. It was like, this isn't even your music. And yeah, there's still like complaints about that and things like that. And but at least now we can turn off comments if we post something. We don't have to have nobody can write any comments if we turn them off. So then, or like we can private a video so the only people that can watch it are the people that have links and things
Mhm.
like that. So at least that's better,
And they are getting a lot better with the algorithm as far as keeping track of re-uploads and all this stuff, because I know that was a really big problem with Unis Annus, for example. Like the whole premise of Unis Annus was 1 year, and then the entire channel was deleted. And a lot of people saved every video and then they would re-upload them. And they are slowly but surely going through and taking them all down. And I know Mark said that they were taking like full on legal action um for the instances that these do happen and people just keep insisting. So we can be happy about that. I know they said that they're leaving like fan compilations and stuff like that, stuff alone. Like
Mhm.
so anything that's completely fan made, that may happen to have footage, they're leaving that alone. But as far as like full on episodes, they are taking those down.
Still, it's stolen content at the end of the day, and I know that's a big issue, like, and amongst multitude of creators. I mean, you see it all the time in the comments going, "Oh, give credit where it's due. This is stolen content.
Mm-hmm.
This is not your property. You didn't make this. Thief." It's like, this is the work of so and so creator. You've basically rehashed it, and you're getting more views than they did. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Like actually it was like a stupid little thing that I had made. Um a picture, and I put my Instagram, signature on it. Because usually when I post something to Tumblr or and Twitter, I usually post it to Instagram as well, and I'll have my Instagram handle on the picture. And so I had posted like a stupid little like RDR2 meme to my Tumblr, and a lot of people thought it was funny and they shared it and things like that. And then I got a notification that I was tagged in like a post, and you can see like the little preview of what the post is sometimes on Tumblr. And what it was the same thing that I had written and put on Tumblr. The person had essentially copied all of the words and then posted it as their own like post, and then just tagged me at the bottom like the source is this, and I was just like, the reblog button is like right there. It's like 2 seconds. You press it, and you press again, and bam, you've reblogged it. There's no need to repost like what I just posted.
Mm.
And when I had told my friend about it, she was like, they just want the same kind of clout
Clout.
that you got,
Mm.
then they could erase the source with your name, and then people will think that they did it when in
Mm.
actuality you were the person that
Mm.
did it. And I was just like, well, I guess thanks that I got my little Instagram handle on there, but like, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Like it's
Seem,
really bad.
I mean, that does seem to be a problem in amongst artists and like, especially like, virtual photographers
Mm.
on social media, whether it's Twitter, like Tumblr, Instagram, especially. I know some of our listeners might have had issues in the past of their content being stolen and passed off as somebody else's.
Mm.
And, and when said people are called out, they fight back by saying, "Oh, I found it on the internet." So it's as if to say, it's free for all. Really, it's like free content for everybody. It's like, no, not if it belongs to somebody, not if it clearly has a watermark. That's why when I post my own personal pictures from capture footage, I put a watermark. Not saying that any of my stuff is good. It's nice, but nothing like some of the virtual photographers that I've seen who do amazing work and
Mhm.
produce amazing imagery. You know, for somebody to come in and just say, "Oh yeah, I did that," and then get more notification and more adoration, it's beyond cheeky, in my opinion. Beyond cheeky. It's like, really? Go and steal somebody's own shit and then no, that doesn't sit right with me at all.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of photos and art and stuff like that that you come across on Pinterest, especially,
Mm, yep.
like people like saving a picture from somewhere else and then posting it on there and just sort of, you know, um, just posting it. And sometimes it's got credit because you'll see like the person's name on it, and sometimes it's in a different language, like Korean or Japanese, or some that are in Chinese, or um, just like a different language from English. And so you don't see probably the creator's signature on there because it may have been part of like a larger piece, and they just kind of took that part and posted it. And there's another comic that I did where essentially it was um, first impressions of young Dutch and young Hosea meeting, where because they said that they tried to rob each other before they just started laughing and then started talking at a campfire, and that's how they came to be partners in crime. And so I was imagining that, and Dutch is just kind of looking at Hosea while he's laughing at him because Dutch is like, hand over your money, and Hosea's just like, you're an idiot. I like that in a man. And that's how they become partners. And there was another one that I had did. There's a tiny faced Dutch and a tiny faced Arthur.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah, it's both of those were posted to Twitter and Tumblr and Instagram, and they all have my signature on them. But one of the people said that they saw the, I think the tiny faced Arthur and tiny faced Dutch picture on Pinterest. They had seen that on Pinterest. And I was just like, oh, I didn't know that it had made it all the way to Pinterest. But it's just, you can find all kinds of things, and some of it is credited, some of it's not, and it just becomes one of those things where you're just like really paranoid about it. Like my friend sells really cute Bulbasaur dolls, plush dolls that she makes by hand.
Mhm.
She's a Bee Nerdish Crafts on I think you can find her at Bee Nerdish on Twitter, but she makes like really adorable like Bulbasaurs. And somebody had taken her photos of her Bulbasaurs that she puts when she was selling them on Etsy, and they had started posting them on various like websites going, "Oh yeah, we can make these for you." And she was like, "Are you serious?" You know? Like that's my, that's my photo. There's my watermark in the corner. That's, stuff that I made. They didn't make that because they were trying to claim that they were the people that originally had claimed it. So, yeah.
I know a friend of mine, her name is Arwen. She used to post a lot on DeviantArt,
Mhm.
and she had posted this really really pretty um fairy drawing. Like she's really big into like fairies and stuff like that, or she was. Um and someone commented and said art thief, and she thought they were just like alerting her to somebody else's like stealing. But no, come to find out, this person was trying to claim that she was the art thief. Got into a whole big battle with DeviantArt and the person because, like, basically what this person had done was had taken her drawing, downloaded it, printed it out, traced it, re-uploaded it, and tried to claim it was theirs. And
Yeah.
she ended up losing access to her account for a while. And I don't remember if she ever got it back or if that ever got sorted. But yeah, like that's how serious this kind of crap is. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna speak plainly here for a second, but if you're the type of person to steal art and take credit for it, because you want some kind of clout, there's a special place for you. And it's not
Mhm.
it's not nice.
No.
And I know there was a really, really big problem in I know it exists in all fandoms, but the one that was the most vocal about it there for a while was within the Jacksepticeye community. Everything kind of just wrapped back around to YouTube there for a second.
Mhm.
Because Jack does a series on his channel called Meme Time, where he'll go onto his subreddit and we'll look at memes and fan art and things like that. So a lot of people were stealing fan art and trying and reposting it or whatever, and trying to pass it off as their own so that they could A, get attention from Jack, and B, end up on Meme Time. And like it was a huge huge problem. And he finally had to jump in there and say, if you're the type of person that does this, I'm not going to show you attention. The attention that you do get will be negative. And
Mm.
so if you want to put something of your own out there, that's awesome. We can celebrate that and we can enjoy that together. But if you're the type of person that's going to put your name on somebody else's artwork, I have no time for you.
Mm. They're in the same league as any thief, really. From somebody that'll shoplift to somebody who'll steal parcels off somebody's porch. A thief's a thief, and nobody really likes a thief.
No, nobody likes them at all. Like when the pictures that I post on our website, when we do like little entries and stuff like that, either they're pictures that we made or they're pictures that I made sure that I looked up that were free stock photos so that they didn't have any like Getty image or this photo belongs to this and stuff like that. They were essentially free stock photos that I could
Mhm.
pick up from public domain sites. If it was a private domain site, then I didn't use it. Um, because my mom had actually gotten in trouble once. She had taken like a web designing class a long time ago when I was like in middle school because she wanted to learn how to do it. And so they had required her to make a website and put up a picture. And so she did, and she had used a picture that she had found on the internet, and it ended up being a picture that was by that had you had essentially had to pay in order to use it. You had to pay the artist, and the artist was only asking maybe like $5 or $6 um, for that particular photo, but it was part of like a larger like portfolio that cost probably about 100. So she only wanted one photo from there, but she had essentially found the photo on Google, and so she shared it. She saved it and posted it, and then she got an email maybe like a week or so later from, I guess, the website. And the website was just like, you need to pay the artist for the usage of that photo. And she's like, oh, I didn't know. I was like, yeah, I think it might have some sort of watermark or tracking on it. So yeah, just go ahead and pay them the $6, you know. But it is like a really big issue. And it's something that, like if I ever copy like a art thing, like whenever I post something and I think that maybe somebody else has done it before, I usually say sorry if somebody has done this before. Like I this came to my head, so I had to draw it, but I never tried to draw from the original picture. I may use like a pose when I'm doing pose practice, but other than that, it's pretty much everything else is like from my head.
I,
But
and I,
yeah.
I think it kind of falls into the same line as the people that will go online and pretend to be certain celebrities. Like I've been messaged, quote unquote, by so many celebrities, and one of them actually made me laugh like really really hard. Um, like I mean I'm an adult, so I can tell the difference. I know that this is not whoever trying to send me a message. Like really, like why would they? Um, but for like teenagers and kids, like this could end up being a potentially dangerous situation. Like you hear all the time about these people using celebrity names to essentially groom people or steal their life savings or things like that. And to a naive teenager or kid or even adults, like some of them have been good. um that's one of the reasons why these scams are successful.
Yep.
And they've fallen into very dangerous situations. But one of them made me laugh. Someone was pretending to be Benjamin Byron Davis, and they sent me a message on Instagram. Now, we are all familiar enough with Mr. Davis to know that when he sends messages or he uploads anything that he has typed, not just things that he's retweeting, he uses things like capital letters, punctuation, proper grammar.
Yeah.
And this person was like, "Oh yeah, my I'm Benjamin Byron Davis, and I'm contacting you on my private account because you're one of my biggest fans, and I want to do this." And I was just like, "Oh, okay. Well, hello, Mr. Davis. How are you today?" And it just like kept him going for a while. And then finally I got bored real fast and I was just like, "Bro, I'm not a naive teenager. I don't know what your original plan was, but like if you're going to mock somebody, if you're going to pretend to be them, you should probably at least study how they speak first and then try that again." And it just cracked me up. Like, really, you're gonna try to be him of all people?
Yeah. I got I got a message on Instagram from somebody going like, "Hey, cutie," and I was like, I'm because I have it set up where you have to request in order to message me, just because for instances like that. So I was like, "Are you looking for a commission?" in my head. So I look at their profile and I see that's usually like a dead giveaway. If they have 0 followers, only 3 posts, and it says that they joined that same day, and all of their posts are just, like somebody's taking a picture of them, chances are is that that's not an actual person, or well, that's not
Mm.
an actual person's account, because one of the pictures on their profile actually belonged to somebody else, and they were trying to claim that that was them, but it had like the watermark of the person because they were a photographer. And so it had somebody had his family, his I think the guy's wife had taken a picture of him, and he's like, "Oh, that's a nice picture." So he puts his little watermark on it, and he uploaded it to his Instagram, and this person who had messaged me had taken the picture, left like the watermark in because they probably couldn't figure out how to get rid of it, and tried to pass it off as, you know, that was them. This is them. This is what they look like. And so I just deleted it. Like I just deleted it. I was just like, okay.
Oh,
It
the best
seems
the
it
best
seems
part.
that you get sorry.
It's okay.
I was just gonna say it seems like you get various degrees of intelligence when it comes to catfish.
That's true. But the best part about this Benjamin Byron Davis one was his screen name was the real Ben Davis. And like his name on there was Big Ben. And so it was like, at the real Ben Davis, and his name was Big Ben. And other than like the horrific grammar and all that stuff, I actually went to the account, and it was like the profile picture was the exact same one of his actual account, but the rest of the account was completely private, so you'd have to request a follow in order
Mhm.
to get to it. And so I was like, just for shits and gigs, I followed it, and it was like literally post by post everything that Ben had done. So yeah, I shut that one down. I reported that one, and I just moved on about my day. And sometimes I still
Mm.
think, I wonder what that person's up to in life now.
You ever wonder if maybe that really was the real Benjamin Byron Davis?
And he's like, yes, I know you, so I don't have to use things like punctuation when I talk to you. Holy run on sentence, Batman. I do have that thought, like every so often I'll get one of those, and I'm just like, what if that was actually them? Like, and then like I have this moment of like, wow, I'm an asshole.
Yo, dude, why don't you come back when you actually learned grammar? And he's like, that hurt my feelings. Ouch.
Well, Mr. Davis, may I call you Mr. Davis? If that was you messaging me, I'm very sorry. If I insulted you, and the thing I said uh about the sheep is not correct, and anatomically or otherwise, and I apologize.
I could inquire, but I'm not going to.
Probably for the best.
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
But
But
I know that it was several months ago now. But if anybody that follows me on social media, specifically Twitter, more for the point,
I don't.
is you don't.
I'm just kidding. Of course I do.
I know that.
The look of panic on your face was amazing. That was priceless.
It was pretend. It was
Sure, it
pretend.
was.
I'm not that dumb. but but anyway, for those that follow me on social media, specifically Twitter, you'll notice that my account is currently set to private.
Mhm.
And it originally wasn't private, but I had to do so because there was an incident several months ago after I posted a picture of myself. Not a very flattering picture. If not, it was ugly cry face in reaction to the finale of Supernatural. And then some random individual, I'm not going to name names because, to be honest, I've forgotten their name,
Yeah.
but they chose to make a really, in my opinion, shit joke at my expense. It was a blatantly obvious fat shaming joke, and it took me back. I'm not going to lie, it did take me back, and it wasn't nice what he said by any means. But did it hurt me on a deep level? Not really. And the reason why is because I could come up with 1,000 better jokes and jabs at myself than some random asshole online who's never even interacted with me, and judging by a lot of what he's been saying to other people within the community, I wouldn't want to, because that guy has got problems.
I
And
think I
again, not
remember.
naming names, but
Yeah, it's okay, Nicola. You can say that they were acting like a complete asshole.
oh, they were, and not just to me, but they were acting like an asshole to other individuals who equally didn't deserve any of the venom that was being spat in their direction.
Yeah,
Like really, really uncalled for and really hurtful, like comments that just makes you think, really, what is your problem? What is your problem? What have these people done to you? Do you know them? They clearly don't know you. So who are you to go online and be an asshole?
yeah,
And that goes across the board from people all over the internet in regards whether it's Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook. If you're a troll and you deliberately go out and harass people for shits and giggles, like Jackie said, there's a special place for you,
yeah.
and
Like
it's not nice.
I remember when I saw that your thing had turned private because I was like, oh, I can't reblog this picture that she did, and I saw it was private, and then I saw like your posts like before, and I was like, oh, and you had told us about them,
Hmm.
um, and I was just like, I thought it was interesting because they went to not all, but some of the people that essentially had came to your support, like Tiffer and Rob and Sam and Joe and Jojo, and I think Kirsten, and of course, if anybody had commented on like Roger's status, like Rogers as well. Um, but it was just like he had went to them, but and I think I say he because it probably was a he, but they tried to follow us on Cameo Gang
Yep.
They
Twitter.
did?
Yeah, they tried to follow us, and we're like, no, we blocked them on
Not,
the
yeah,
on
Mm.
not only
Twitter.
did they do that, but
Report.
not only did they try to follow us, but they also responded to one of our posts and asked, "Do you?" and said, "Do you want to be friends?"
I
And
remember that. I remember that.
yeah, and I didn't even give them the opportunity. I know someone jumped in to respond, but I was like, I'm just not even going to give them the opportunity. And I just I was on the account that at that moment, so I just blocked and reported. And
Yeah.
then I know there were like in a lot of the live streams that the wonderful Red Dead cast did um for the like the geek signs and the streamalies and all that stuff, the signings. A lot of the times, a lot of vile people would come in,
Yeah.
like specifically to stir up drama, and it kind of breaks my heart a little bit when like whoever it is has to stop their stream and either get onto these people or try to figure out how to block them or just say anything, because it's like for people that target people like this, that go out of their way to specifically cause drama, what they're looking for is attention, and they don't care if it's good attention or bad attention. Like they are essentially acting like children.
Yeah.
And so, all publicity is good publicity, as they say.
Mm.
Yeah.
And to completely disrupt something that like they don't have to be doing, they don't
Yeah.
have to do these signings, but they want to, because, well, a lot of them have time on their hands, or a lot of them have, like maybe
Families and lives.
yeah, and like maybe I don't know, they do these signings because they want to help people, and they also do it because maybe they need money, or something like that, but they don't have to do them. So to see them have to stop something very nice that they're voluntarily doing to get onto these people just kind of breaks my heart a little bit. It's like, why? Like, why is this funny? What enjoyment do you get out of this?
Yeah, and there's nothing more disheartening than seeing somebody that you admire go from a pleasant, happy mood to then scolding an individual or individuals online for being, one either like homophobic, transphobic, racist, just any amount of derogatory slurs, whether directed at themselves or others who are attending said stream. There is absolutely no need to come onto somebody else's social media feed and, like we said, be an asshole. Because why should people have to put up with it?
Mm-hmm.
And people shouldn't have to put up with it. And especially the person hosting shouldn't have to put up with it. And they have within their right to report and block, and to either end the stream if they would want to. And then that just ruins it for everybody else.
See, that's one of the reasons why I wish Instagram would hurry up and do a feature that allowed the hosts to select like moderators and stuff. That way they don't have to stop these things. And that's the downside, is when you're in that situation and you have a choice to make. One, you can choose to just do the signing and ignore the chat, which kind of takes away a lot of the personal stuff, but you get the signing done. Or you also pay attention to chat and while you're doing the signing, but you run the risk of seeing that stuff. So if they had like moderators coming in, or like each individual person could bring in moderators or make someone a moderator, then the moderators could get rid of this stuff without whoever's hosting it ever really seeing it or paying attention to it, and then they lose that ability to get a rise.
Yeah. Like like Twitch has moderators. Like you can hire moderators, or you can hire somebody to be in the chat and be a moderator, so they'll go through the chat and they'll block and report and delete comments as they go. Or you can have like a bot do it.
It's one thing I've never understood and never will. I have never understood, and I never will tolerate shit stirrers. I don't have the patience or the energy to engage with people who go to start an argument or just to basically cause clout or drama, for their own benefit, for whatever reason. I cannot be arsed with that. Well, my mum was the same, and I'm pretty much the same in that aspect.
Well, and
I just can't.
I feel like I need to jump in for a second, because there is a difference between like bad shit stirring and good shit stirring. Like what we do is good shit stirring. Like that
Yeah.
whole when man, I have mentioned his name a lot on this stream or on this session. So if he's listening, you're welcome, I guess. But when like Benjamin Byron Davis goes on his whole political rants, and then I jump in after he's done, what the hell is he talking about? And go, aha, I made it to what the hell is he talking about o'clock.
Mm.
Like that does not cause harm. That does not start drama. All it does is for a moment, I get a giggle out of it.
Mm.
And then it took off, and now everyone else refers to it as what the hell is he talking about o'clock? And I'm like, oops, my bad. But yeah, like I mean, like you can be a troll, but you can be funny. Like
Yeah.
as you can be a shit stirrer and be humorous, but not at someone's expense and not in a damaging fashion. Like
Mm.
that's the big difference. Like, are you doing it because you think it's personally funny but no one else does? Okay, then you should probably
Mm.
not do that.
Mm.
Yeah. Like I think on the live streams for Instagram, Rob had to figure out how to block someone. Roger stopped his stream maybe twice. And the second, I think he stopped maybe like two streams to say like be nice in the comments, and then the second one is that he was angry. You know, he was very angry about it, and he was like, I will stop. You know, like I will stop because I know that you guys are doing it when I'm looking down and I can't see because of the amount of people that are in the thing. But if I look up and I catch it again after this, that's it. I'll just finish signing these and nobody else will, and I'll send them out, but we won't continue with like a video. And like Ben had to do his as well, had to do it as well, and Kylie as well, but she had her husband, and her husband was like her moderator. So he, you know, you saw his finger poking the screen. It's like, I got it, right? And she, you know, but yeah, it's just there really isn't any gain from it, and I think some people do it just because even if it's negative attention, it's still attention. People will still talk about them, you know, refer to them and things like that. They'll quote them and either say, oh, that's funny, or oh, you're such an asshole, you know, type of deal. And what they're looking for is for the celebrity themselves to acknowledge them. Like Roger has acknowledged maybe one or two people so far from what I've seen. There may have been more, but from what I've seen, he's only acknowledged maybe like two or three people with like that have said something that he doesn't agree with, and he's called them out on it and basically called them, you know, like dicks or assholes or something, like you know, what the fuck are you talking about, and like just block them, you know.
Mm.
But other than that, it's like they want that acknowledgement, because then they'd be like, look, I pissed them off, I just wanted to piss you off, that's all I'm doing it for. And we're just like, why expand that much energy just to make someone
Mm.
angry when you could be doing something else?
I mean,
And
how bored are they in life to go about pissing people off
Look,
purposefully, especially people they don't know online? I
look,
just don't understand it.
look, I was an only child.
Same.
So I was bored a lot as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times as an adult that I'm also bored. I'm trying not to cough right into the microphone, so my apologies if my voice sounds a little funny right now. Um, but I wanted to jump in. but but I I was bored a lot. And what I would do as a kid in some small backwoods little town that I grew up in is I would like make my own fun and find new ways to entertain myself, and not at the expense of other people. Like, I don't care how bored you are. I don't care, whatever. Like, if you're that bored, go get one of those shocking machines. Like, the ones that you can, it's like you play with other people and you hold a thing and it spins around in a circle and then shocks you. Like, get one of those and just shock yourself repeatedly. Like, if you just really want to cause pain, just get one of those and just shock yourself. Like, if you're that bored, you can find other ways.
Find ways to entertain yourself that is not negative, either to yourself or to other people, especially to other people, because not everybody has the same resilience as everybody else. Some people are more vulnerable in society, and obviously, for obvious reasons, these things are invisible. You can't tell with everybody. And so, if you're going on, like we said, and harass people, you don't know that person. You don't know what they've potentially got going on in their lives. And you could be making them either, one, feel worse or making their situation feel worse. And yeah, just my TED talk is essentially don't be an arsehole.
Accurate, yeah. And then these people, like a lot of people that do the like the live streams and stuff like that, yeah, they're celebrities, and it's like, yeah, they're really awesome, and they're really awesome people, but at the end of the day, they're still people. They still have to do laundry, they still need to eat and sleep, and they have their own lives to live. They've got their own friends and their own life outside of whatever their celebrity status is. And so you can't expect them to be your dancing monkeys and do your bidding. And like, they still have opinions and things like that. They are just people.
Yeah.
And they have emotions, and I think it's really sad that we take these people that are just people that happen to have a talent or have done something amazing, and we force them into a situation where they have to keep a strong face or have a thick skin for the sake of giving other people a good time. And it's like that's not a position that anyone should have to be in.
Yeah. Like whenever if I've only probably messaged like I want to say three celebrities, and majority of the time I've apologized just for messaging them, like, sorry if this is, you don't have to answer, I just had a question, about X or Y. And the people were like, from the Red Dead, like Roger, Kylie, Peter. And like I always apologize just for messaging them. And I tell them, you don't have to answer. I understand if you don't want to, because what I'm asking, the question I'm asking might not be something that they can legally talk about. Because who knows what the contract with Rockstar said about what they can and can't. And
a lot of scary words, I would imagine.
Yeah. So, usually I just tell them, oh, you don't have to message like me back. If you do, thank you so much for, I don't want to take too much of your time. And usually I don't. It's just that, and that's it. I apologize. If they usually, majority of the time, Roger and Kylie and Peter are all like really nice about it, and they message me back and they're just like, oh yeah, sure. And they'll, go through there. And I'm like, thank you so much. Like, this is the best.
And then she'll run to us and go, oh my God, guys, they responded.
So yeah, it's like,
Meanwhile, I'm the stupid one that's like, yeah, sure, I'll message this person. Hang on a second. What exactly do you want me to say?
Yeah, and so it's like one of those things. And I mean, like, people that I do continue to talk back and forth every once, like, when they're not busy, like Mick. We all talk to Mick either through like our own Twitters or through like Cameo. not Cameo, through the Cameo gang Twitter is what I mean. We usually talk to him like through that, and we just kind of catch up and see how he's doing, and when he's not busy, because we know, he was moving, and then he's got this that's going on, and then some other stuff that I think that might be coming up. So it's just, we try not to be a bother, but there are fans that are just like, oh my god, you have to respond, you have to, and we get it. You get starstruck. That's a thing that
Mm.
happens. But sometimes you got to take a step back.
Yeah, there's boundaries that exist in reality, and that's something I want to address to the listeners, that whether you listen to this podcast, whether you follow us on social media, like Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you're welcome in this space, but be mindful of your own boundaries, the boundaries of others, and basically just be mindful of everybody. And again, don't be an arsehole, because I think we've said before that this space that we've created here, we have zero tolerance for that kind of behavior, because one, we don't have the energy for it, and two, it's not cool by any means.
Well, between the three of us, if you really stop and think about it, between the three of us, we have varying degrees of religion or spirituality amongst us. Number one. Number two, we do have someone here who is a person of color. We have multiple members of LGBTQ plus, and that's just between the three of us. That's not including our listeners. We have listeners from all over the world who are varying degrees of religion or spirituality. We have multiple people who are BIPOC or LGBTQ plus. Man, that was a lot of letters to throw out, and I'm horrifically dyslexic, so I am proud of myself that I got that far.
Woo!
Anyway, but yeah, the simple fact is we have a wide range of listeners who come from various walks of lives, and so yeah, we're not going to tolerate hatred of any sort.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, just so if you do come after one of us for whatever reason, like if we ever do get a troll of some sort coming after one of us, you are gonna get put in the ground. I'm just
Mm.
in that.
We're protective of our own,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I need to remind people, even though I doubt I need to remind people, I'm Scottish. Don't come after Scottish people, because we're not necessarily trying to find the words here. They don't call us a warrior nation for nothing, should I say?
I'm just chaos and destruction. I have no such beautiful claim, but I am just chaos and destruction, and I will help to end.
I have
In your
never
existence.
understood why people think that they can get away with, not just antagonizing people and pissing people off, especially if they're from the Celtic nations, like if they're Irish or Welsh. We're warrior nations. It's like poking a bear. Don't do it, because you will get annihilated
That's what I
by
am. I'm the bear.
by words alone. By words alone, because we are vicious and crafty with our takedowns, our verbal takedowns, and from an outsider's perspective, it's hilarious to see.
That's what I am. I'm the bear. Do not
The
poke.
bear. No poke.
I mean, I'm a fairly quiet person. Says me, but I'm very much a pacifist in terms of I don't engage in fights or arguments. I tend to avoid that like the plague, because I don't have time or energy for that. It's not my space. But if the if circumstances change and I do have to step in, I've been told like when I snap, it's like the Hulk. That being said, my friend is referring to an incident that happened when we were 7, and somebody mocked me for having red hair, and that was the first time she heard me swear. And she says it was one of the funniest things she's ever heard. Anyway.
Oh, and I should go out and mention that our people do include the Red Dead cast, so fuck off, everybody. Well, not
Yeah.
everybody, but specifically trolls that are here to cause harm and damage. Those are our people too. So
Yeah, like what was it on Tumblr? I didn't follow them, but one of my friends did, and they got an anonymous ask because you can send anonymous like questions or just like excited like little fangirl things to people on Tumblr, especially people you follow. And they had called that person who was an artist a slur for a Jewish person.
Ooh.
Because they had posted a drawing that they did of Arthur and Hosea, and they were celebrating Hanukkah. And it was just like they were upset that they had that person having these two characters celebrating Hanukkah because they're like there's nothing in the game to indicate that they were Jewish. And the person was just like, there was enough. I think I know who you are, and I saw your post about Arthur and Hosea being Christian, and there was nothing in the game that indicated that they were. But either way, seriously, besides your grossly racist comment to me, like, get the fuck out of here. And my friend had replied, had reblogged it and had written her own reply, and she's just like, if that person wants to come off of Anon, I'm gonna tear you from limb to limb because that's not cool. And I was just like, count me in, because that person's a coward if they are just gonna come on Anon and just they're just gonna be anonymous and just call you a racial slur just because they disagree with something that you drew.
So basically, what we have gained from this conversation is while Catherine may sound all cute and innocent, she will throw hands and you will catch them.
I'm an equal hand opportunity employer.
These hands are rated E for everybody.
Basically.
I'm like a tortoise for the most of the time, but then if push comes to shove, I'll become a snapping tortoise.
Oh, it took me a second to realize what you said.
Snapping
What
turtle.
did you think? Snapping turtle, yeah.
Yeah, it's snapping turtle.
Just well, you said tortoise weird, and I was like, what?
Tortoise.
Tortoise. Yeah, she's saying.
What's funny about? Is this going to be one of those things? It's like, say this word, say that word. Whoa, you say it in such an adorable way. Your accent is adorable. You say it weird.
I wasn't gonna say that.
Say aluminum, which by the way is aluminium, but I digress. But
you're wrong, yes. But anyway, regardless.
Schedule.
Color has a U in it. Why do y'all spell it without the U? I don't get it.
I actually have the answer to that one.
That'll be a key way for our followers to know who is typing up on our social medias by how the grammar and how the spelling's done. If there's a U, it's moi.
See, you say that. And from this point on, I actually have the answer to why we don't have a U, though.
Okay.
So back when like newspapers and all of that first really got started, because it was such a process to get everything printed, they would charge by the letter. So we started eliminating letters to save, but still get the point across. So you could say color without the U, but it would save you money. And therefore, color, COLOR, became part of our vocabulary. Same thing with a couple of words where we eliminated certain letters, aluminum being another one.
Is that why you'll say things like herbs instead of herbs?
You make
Even though
that
you'll spell
argument.
it, even though you'll still spell it with the herbs, it's herbs.
See,
I find it adorable. It's so endearing.
see, you make that argument. And I keep making the counter argument, and you have yet to give me a proper answer.
Because I don't have one.
If if herbs is pronounced herbs because there's an H in it, then what do you say for the time of day that is pronounced hour with an H in it? Do you say hour? No, you say hour. Suck
Say
it,
ur.
bitch.
I say ur. That's the difference.
That's
Because
that's,
I'm Scottish, we butcher the language. As we've been told.
actually the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure, yeah, ur is German. Oops. That's not what I wanted.
I think
Rent to own furniture. Okay.
I was right. It's German. It means clock.
Well, I've been educated.
And now you know.
I've only been at a high school for 10 years. That's showing my age there.
Oh,
Well,
you
that's
cute
like
baby.
I mean, Javier makes the same argument on in Red Dead. He talks about words. He's like, why do you guys say it so different? Why isn't anything that's like in English said
I agree.
the
I
way
agree with Javier.
spelled?
I call it Lanahatchee River. And Arthur says Lanahassee River. It's like, no, it's Lanahatchee.
Yeah.
I'd say it's spelled.
Like
Javier's right.
like there's a city in Alabama that's Phoenix City, but Phoenix isn't spelled how you would think that Phoenix is spelled. It's Phenix, Phoenix. And I was like, when I moved to where I live, I was like, why is it spelled like that? Why do they spell it like that? That's what is this? What is this bullshit?
Look, as a person who comes from Louisiana, we are absolutely 100% used to saying things that are completely like counter to whatever they're spelled. Case in point, the word that I have pulled up on my screen right now is pronounced Washita,
Wadacha.
or as we like to say, "Oh, you a
What a-
cheetah."
Oh, you
Oh,
cheetah.
oh, you a cheetah.
Oh, you a cheetah.
But I guess on that note, this is probably it's I think we should I think this is the end.
Yeah, we're starting to fall down a very dangerous rabbit hole.
Yes. Yes.
Oh goodness. But we hope that you weren't too bogged down by our talk on harassment and everything like that. Just to kind of throw it out there, the gamers on Twitter at or I think it's or is it just GAMEHERS on Twitter for the gamers Twitter page, because I want to make sure that I'm remembering it right. Yeah, it's got the. But yeah, the gamers are they will have like published articles and stuff like that. So they actually have a few articles on harassment in video games and things like that. So one of the ones that I remember seeing, the first one that I remember seeing was a streamer, and she was talking about her experiences as a woman on Twitch, where she would be getting harassed and things like that. And they've had a few guests on the Let's Play podcast that talks about their experiences with harassment, whether that is, from fans or just in general over the internet and things like that. So if you're interested, they have a website that has like various different little articles on it, and I've written like a couple of stuff for them. I do have a article that I wrote and released, I think it was in November or so, or the end of October, that was about video game harassment on online, and how it can also be outside of online games, like outside of the video game realm. And there's been a few where they've talked about how men can be ally for women that have been harassed physically, sexually, emotionally within the community. So yeah, you guys give it a listen.
I wrote one, but it was about death. So,
That's also something that's very important to discuss, but we can do that later, because I have some things that I gotta go and do.
wow, wow.
God, we are editing that out.
Are we though?
But yeah, we'll see you guys next week, and we hope you enjoyed everything.
Bye.
Boy, have a good weekend.
Pip pip cheerio. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Around the Campfire. We'd also like to thank Brett Van Dossel for providing the music. You can find him and his music at brettvandossel.com. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at CameoGang1899. We're also on Instagram at Around the Campfire 1899. You can find us on YouTube at Around the Campfire Podcast. See you around, cowpokes.